Joining me now, Congressman Jason Smith, chairman of the all-important House Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, great to see you, as always. Ro Khanna, one of your colleagues across the aisle, tweeted the following. I'm curious about how the budget the House Republicans passed last night, which adds $100 billion in defense spending and $2.8 trillion to the deficit over 10 years, how that aligns with Elon Musk and Doge's goals or Secretary of Defense's goal of an 8% DOD cut. What's the answer to Congressman Ro Khanna?
It's very simple. That budget resolution that he is trying to hit a talking point, it actually cuts $2 trillion. However, the Congressional Budget Office, this is the scorekeepers that are bureaucrats, are claiming just extending President Trump's current tax policy, which the Trump tax cuts from 2017, will create that deficit. You know as well as I, we do not have a revenue problem in this country. If you look at the average revenue that's come into the country over the last 50 years has been right at 17% of GDP. We have a spending problem. Typically, our spending is right around 20% of GDP, but over the last 5 years, it is 26% of GDP. And what they're saying about the budget resolution is Trump's expiring tax provisions. He's not talking about the $2 trillion, Laura, that we're cutting. The most Congress has ever cut in the history of America is $400 billion. So being able to hit the $2 trillion is a good step. We need to do better, though.
Yeah, well, Congressman, back in 2021, when Biden risked exploding the deficit with all that spending and prolonged COVID rules, I don't remember the New York Times hand-wringing about the economic risks that posed, but the New York Slimes hit Trump today, publishing this big piece on the risks to the U.S. economy that they say are posed by Trump's spending cuts and the agency level, and then his tariffs, with one of the top economists at Apollo saying any increase in layoffs will push jobless claims higher over the coming weeks, and such a rise in the unemployment rate is likely to have consequences for interest rates, equities, and credit. So your view on that, I mean, if we have layoffs, which we obviously are going to need layoffs, will that also hamper the progress that you all want to make here?
I'll tell you right now, President Trump's leadership in economic policy, whether it's tariffs that will bring more revenue into our country to reduce the deficit, or whether it's cutting spending, he has the right recipe. He proved it in his last term. He created the best economy in my lifetime, and then Biden followed him, created the worst economy. I would trust President Trump any day.
But you think we can continue to spend what we're spending and increase the level of spending year over year like we're doing now and keep paying this interest on the debt?
We absolutely can.
How can we? But again, how does this current budget, this iteration of the budget that you all passed last night, how does that really advance us toward the cuts that we need? Serious cuts, Laura, drastic cuts.
Yeah, Laura, last night, what we passed was not a budget. What we passed was the budget resolution that just sets the blueprint that allows the Senate to be able to pass the president's tax cuts with 51 votes. The budget will come later, but in this resolution, in order for the president's tax cuts to be extended, we're saying you also have to cut $2 trillion, which is a great step in the right direction.
Well, we're gonna make sure those details are actually $2 trillion in cuts. I know, Congressman, you want them, but the devil's going to be in the details. As always, we love having you on. Thanks so much.